Hey fellas, this is another epic Shabble Dabble video. You've probably watched a few videos like this in the past, so I'll make this explanation quick. I'll be ranking all of the items in the current version of Baldi's Basics Plus, which is 0.6 as of the making of this video. They will be ranked from F tier, which are the worst items, to S tier, which are the best. I'll describe the pros and cons of each item, if applicable, and a basic rundown of how they work for those who don't know. This ranking is only factoring in Baldi's Basics Plus, by the way, so some items might be ranked a little different from how they would in a classic ranking. Before I get into it, this is all my opinion, so don't treat what I say as gospel, okay? Without further ado, let's get into the ranking.
Bro, you stink.
In F tier, we only have one item, which is the Principal Whistle. The Principal Whistle, once used, will alert the Principal to your location and majorly increases speed until he gets to you, theoretically allowing him to get to you in mere seconds if you want to, for example, get its ability into the slammer or purposefully get detention. However, in practice, it barely works. Even if he does get to you in a somewhat reasonable time, getting detention on purpose doesn't seem like a great idea. Whilst any other item would help deal with Baldi or its ability easier, which is why it's the worst item in the game by a large margin. In D tier, there are two items, with the worst of them being the brand new Diet B Soda. The Diet B Soda functions similarly to its non-diet counterpart. When used, it creates a spray of soda that slowly travels forward, pushing any character, including the player, with it. However, unlike the regular version, it has a limited lifespan, only lasting 3 seconds. This makes it a much worse item than B Soda, especially in the late game, as it can only barely push characters away. It is useful in floors 1 and 2, but at that point in the game, Baldi is barely a threat, and you'd be much better off picking something else, or even nothing at all. Phasing on to the next item, we have the Portal Poster. This item can be used on walls to create an opening to the other side of the wall. This lasts for the rest of the game and can be used by any character. The Portal Poster is a neat idea on paper, but it is way too rare to justify its rather niche uses. If it were just a bit harder to get than the Principal's keys, which it is similar to, it wouldn't be that bad. But it isn't, which is why it's in D tier. Womp womp. Cutting up to the C tier, the worst item here is the Safety Scissors. These can be used to cut Playtime's skipping rope, deactivating her for a short time, to cut Fruit Bean's gum, and to make First Prize spin out for a while. The playtime usage alone makes this a decent item, but the other uses unfortunately don't add much to the conversation. If you get stuck in gum or have trouble with First Prize at all, the joke is really on you. Not a bad item by any means, but not outstanding either. Coming in at number 15 is the Swinging Door Lock. This humongous odd lock forces swinging doors shut, allowing nothing to get past for 30 seconds. Overall, the lock, while being useful in a handful of situations, isn't common or significant enough for me to choose it over other items when I see it. It has its uses for sure, but calling it a game changer would be a bit silly, to put it lightly. Up next, who's that item? It's the big old boots! Using these boots will temporarily make you immune to getting pushed around by various sources, such as First Prize, Gotta Sweep, and conveyors. However, it also makes grappling hook useless for the duration, which has left me in bad situations several times. This item would have probably been dead last, or at least close to that, if I'd made this last year, but recent balance changes majorly increase its duration, making it much more useful. The longer duration means you won't be able to use the grappling hook for longer though, so it remains in the C tier. It's a shame, really. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably put it in B. Time to kindly put your key in, because it's time for the Principal's keys. These can be used to open any locked door that you could ever imagine. like when you get detention or get locked in a room by Chuckles or Mrs. Pomp. You may say, but Shabble, doesn't the portal poster do all of that but better? But no! The portal poster may be better, but when you're factoring in where and when you get it, the keys are always there for you. Wow! What a supportive group of keys. Number 12, we have the iconic and shiny quarter. The quarter can be used to gain some cool benefits from things you can use it on. You can buy free sodas and zesty bars from vending machines, open coin-operated swinging doors, and use the payphone to deafen Baldi. What's not to like? Well, not much. The only real con with it is that it takes up an inventory slot until you can use it. But that's hardly an issue, especially in Plus. Getting free sodas and zesty bars for cheap is also pretty nifty. Next up in the bippity skibbity B tier is the faculty name tag. Much like the Big Ol' Boots, you can slap this thing on for a short time and get completely ignored by most characters. Principal won't care about you breaking rules, Playtime won't play with you, and It's a Bully won't steal from you. Of course, this doesn't apply to Baldi, but the sheer amount of uses it has is mind-blowing. It isn't exactly going to change the game massively, but it is very convenient when snooping around in places you shouldn't. Ring ring, it's the alarm clock. I class this item as being similar to the name tag in Boots, as you can drop it down and it'll just do its thing. What thing? Well, once you place it, you can set it to go off after 15, 30, 45, or 60 seconds. After that time runs out, it will create a loud sound, alerting Baldi to its location. This can be used to distract Baldi from smaller noises, like opening doors. Wowee! What a useful item! Any drawbacks?
Well, not really, but it is quite hard to maximize the usage of it if you don't have a PhD, so there's that.
For the final item in B tier, you might want to watch your step, because it's the Nana Peel. This potassium-y delight can be lobbed onto the floor, causing most characters to slide and bounce around in the direction they were going, including you. This can be used to speed down halls without technically running, and can get you out of dead ends with Baldi. I've grown quite fond of the peel since it was released, and you might too. Give it a chance, won't you? Up in the A tier, we have the zestiest piece of chocolate ever produced, the energy-flavoured Zesty Bar. Chowing down on the succulent bar will fill up your stamina bar to 200%, which is double what you could normally get. This is yet another one of the use and forget about items, which means you can use it pretty efficiently without taking up space in your inventory. The Zesty Bar is quite handy for getting places, and it has no real downside. Silently sneaking up next is the WD No Squee. You may look at this right now and wonder, what the heck is this doing up here in A tier? But it recently got a major rework that changes the item entirely. The WD No Squee can be used anywhere you want, silencing any sound you make in a small area around where you used it, signified by a bunch of sparkly particles. This lasts for a whopping 5 minutes instead of 4 door openings like it used to. WD No Squee always seemed like a great concept for a stealthy game like Baldi's Basics, but it always seemed like a waste of effort to get. Now, I can confidently say that it's a great item. Good on you, No Squee! What's the next item? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I hear it. Oh, it's Baldi's least favourite tape. This can be used in the tape player in the principal's office to temporarily deafen Baldi and me while it plays and get other characters to move away from the source of the sound. This also makes Baldi forget where he was heading when it activates. The tape is great for keeping Baldi away from your location. It can save you from certain failure if you get detention. Thanks, tape. Very, very cool. Okay, you can shut up now, man. Jesus. Up next, be sure to keep Dr. Reflex away with an apple for Baldi. That's a joke, obviously. It doesn't actually keep Dr. Reflex away. Yet. This item cannot be used by the player directly, but if it is in your inventory and Baldi would normally end your game, instead takes the apple, allowing you to get out while you still can. If this item were more common, I'd probably put it in an S, but it being so rare does kick it down a little. Still, it's a life-saving item.
Yum!
From one life-saving item to the next, with Dangerous Teleporter. Yes, it doesn't sound helpful, but let me cook. When you use this handy-dandy device, you'll be rapidly teleported all over the map, with random teleportations slowing down until you eventually get to where you're supposed to be. This item is mostly used to escape Baldi in situations which would otherwise make it impossible. It gets the edge over the apple slightly because it could potentially get you further away from Baldi than the apple. It could also get you out of the principal's office if Baldi was going to get you there. Still too rare to be S though. This next item won't crash your game, but perhaps your brain, because it's the bee soda. If you don't get the joke,
Well, I'm not gonna explain it.
I already explained what this thing does in the Diet Bee Soda section, but this one doesn't have a lifespan. This means you can push characters down a really long hallway, no restrictions. This can buy you loads of time in the late game, helping get those epic victory royals. This item would have been S tier not too long ago, but the addition of the Diet Bee Soda made the regular one rarer, forcing it to stay in 8 tier purgatory. Shadows of S tier, the second best item in the game, the Dirty Chalk Eraser, can be found. This thing is bonkers crazy. Is Baldi or someone else trying to hunt you down? Use this eraser to keep yourself hidden for as long as you are in the chalk cloud. This cloud lasts for about a minute, which is quite a long time in a game like this. The only downside is that if Baldi sees you use it, he will still find you, so make sure to use it out of sight. Finally, best item in the game, which basically anybody could see coming, is the grappling hook. The grappling hook can be used to zip across to wherever you shoot it. When I say zip, I mean go on an intercontinental flight to the other side of the world in less time than it takes to say Baldi. This thing can come in clutch when you're getting the exits, especially since it has 5 uses. Unlike every other item in the game, you could use this already great item 5 times. What a bargain! Even after all that, it still costs less than the apple and teleporter, which honestly seems like an oversight. Mr. 12, if you see this, please don't nerf this thing. It's everything that I've ever wanted. Anyways, thanks for watching this tier list video thing. See you on the next floor. Also, here's the tier list for anyone wondering. If you just want to skip to the end like a coward. And, anyway, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, goodbye.